Hello my dears, welcome to this video. When we make the video, it has already happened that Neptune, a slow-moving planet, as astrologers refer to it, has crossed the cosmic gap from the sign of Pisces. Pisces has been in Neptune for a very long time, 14 years. It will be on March 30th, 2025. Of course, at 2 p.m. Central European Time, that is German time, Neptune crossed the cosmic gap over 0 degrees Aries and is now already in Aries. So if you watch the video at a later time, it has already happened anyway. I actually wanted to shoot the video on Saturday or Sunday morning, but unfortunately it didn't work out. Nevertheless, I'm filming it because it is a very, very important event that is happening right now. And what is yet to come for us? This is just the beginning. Neptune was in Pisces for a very long time, 14 years. And as mentioned, it moved into Aries on March 30th, 2025. The video also has significance for a longer period. Neptune will remain in Aries until October 22nd, 2025. Neptune will go retrograde again, returning to Pisces. This means we can reflect once more on what remains unresolved, and so on, right? As mentioned, in October, half a year later, so to speak, and then as mentioned from October 22nd to January 26th, 2026 in Pisces, and finally on January 26th, I keep misspeaking here, I'm very sorry, I've already started the video for the second time. And then finally, on January the 26th, 2026 until May 2038, it permanently moves into Aries. I will make another video about that, so I will probably make several videos on the topic of Neptune. Feel free to check out my channel. I have playlists. Everything will be under the astrological forecast, under the playlist, and there you will always find all the videos again. Exactly. Looking back once more. On Saturday, we had the new moon in Aries. On March 29th, we had the solar eclipse, and those were all such events. Now Neptune is also moving into the sign of Aries. So that's already an intense energy that's currently in the field, right? Neptune also represents our soul guide, Neptune. Or rather, yes, Neptune is the ruling planet of Pisces and is also associated with the 12th house. I'll place the card over here. House number 12 is the last house and represents spirituality and art. Things that we cannot grasp, that we cannot see, but that are there, things we cannot recognize with the naked eye. And yes, with Neptune in Aries, this will definitely be, for many, a spiritual awakening. Also follow your intuition now, something like a reset. Everything will be new. You will, yes. Yes, as mentioned, it is also a slow mover and it always has something to do with collective processes. I would actually also say this is the end of the old times, or rather, the end of the old times begins now. With this, and we are entering a new era, my dear ones. At the latest, very latest, so this will already happen for many now, at the latest in January, when Neptune finally moves into the sign of Aries. Yes, that's a detailed and comprehensive introduction for now. And then I would say feel free to listen a bit more. I'm telling you here, this is not a card reading. I'm just going to talk a little bit about mythology, about what I've heard from other astrologers, and then yes, definitely a few things now on the topic here with Neptune in the sign of Aries, about Neptune's mythology. Neptune is actually the Latin name for Poseidon, the Greek god of the seas and waters, and it always symbolizes what the water element represents for us, the soul, emotions, and your intuition. Neptune stands for our immortal soul and the longing to connect with everything that exists and to dissolve the boundaries of human existence. It represents the ocean or oceans of the collective unconscious with which each of us is connected, like a lagoon with the open sea. And people with a strong Neptune in their horoscope often have a keen extrasensory perception. They sense through dreams or intuitions what is happening in the world and what is to come. Of course, you also need to check here. You can look in the info box below. I have inserted a link below where you can calculate your birth horoscope. There you can also see where Neptune is positioned for you. As I said, where Aries is positioned for you, or also what you have in your 12th house. Exactly, that's what I would say here for now. Exactly. So, I would say, people with a strong Neptune in their horoscope often have a keen extrasensory perception. They sense through dreams and intuitions what is happening in the world and what is to come. That's why, not only for this reason, Neptune is considered not only as the planet of mystery, but also for spirituality. As I said here too. And for mediumship. But I also noted down that it also specifically governs the oceans and all the waters of this world. And that is a tremendous force. And this force will be in the fire sign for the next 14 years. Aries, I wrote down some text from the internet. That means the mighty floods of the water element meet the blessing heat and the glow of fire. In light of this, I see in my mind's eye how glaciers melt and fall into the sea. This has been a topic for years. Due to global warming as well, that such things will happen. And right now, as I said, when Neptune has transitioned into the sign of Aries, the sea level is rising. And in general, our waters, our seas are warming up. And what I foresee for the weather development in Russia, this can naturally have significant consequences as well. And will, with the beginning of this transit also, later when Saturn into Aries moves on the 25th of May, also into Aries. This is again a slow May. Many slow-moving planets will change their signs this year, including Uranus. I will actually get to that when the time comes. At the end of May, I will make another video about your Saturn. This can also mean that heat or drought or floods can occur with these two planets. In the long term, there will be a great flow of floods. In this way, Mother Saturn will relentlessly make herself heard to all those who have recently decided to put environmental care on the back burner and prefer to wage war and play power games. So I would actually say keep an eye on the weather forecast, or rather the weather itself. Weather changes, because this will happen gradually. It will not happen suddenly from one moment to the next. Neptune is a slow mover, and this will happen gradually. And not like, let's say, with the fast planets, where it will happen quite quickly and suddenly. Yes, let's say the negative side. Neptune also stands for poison. It can also represent these low energies. If we look at the negative, it can also stand for poison. This can actually also mean, yes, topic, environmental pollution, poisoning of the oceans, the water, contamination, something like that. Pollution, plastic waste, etc. Everything we've heard, all of which leads to our water being poisoned. I would say without the weather changing intensively or flood phenomena occur, I don't think that these are minor issues. I do think that one or two major events will happen. Also floods and things like that. I would say this is a major restart. Even if it was a major restart when Neptune was now over 0 degrees. Gone again, it's gone again, it is again. This is the first sign, the first zodiac sign. And that is already a holiday. Let's put it that way. It is definitely a big day. This year we expect major changes and new energies because almost all outer planets are changing their signs. These include Neptune, as mentioned, Saturn, as well as Uranus, and also Jupiter, which bring new energies this year. Neptune is the first outer planet that we now did. He is, as mentioned, on the 30th March, have seen wandering in Aries, and it remains there, as mentioned already, until the 22nd October. October 2025? That is from 0 to 2 degrees. Feel free to also check your horoscope, your birth chart, where you have 0 to 2 degrees in Aries. And then only, as mentioned, on the 26th of January 2026, it fully moves back into the sign. Again, and then also in direct contact with Saturn, which definitely opens up big new chapters and brings with it great new energies. It will definitely be exciting this year. As mentioned, this is just a taste of what will come next year. As I already said about Saturn, I will make another video. Uranus is, I believe, due in June or July. I will also make another video about that. And Jupiter is due in July. I will also make another video about that. By the way, Lilith has also changed now on the 27th of March. She is now also in Scorpio, also until the 22nd. Or until the 20th of December. So also a very long time. But she feels comfortable in Scorpio. She is like at home. So it's a good energy. I will also make another video about that. A video on the topic of Lilith. I generally want to make a few videos. But unfortunately, I currently just don't have the time for it. Let's get back to Neptune here. With Neptune, it's always about feeling. It's not about rational thinking, but especially about intuition. And when it moves into a fire sign, then we also start to take more action. So it's about a lot of inspiration, but it's also about moving forward. It's about new beginnings. It's about new adventures. So Aries has a very fresh new energy where we have a yes, where a cycle is opened with the first zodiac sign at 0 degrees. Aries and also Neptune as a long-term influence. The long-term transit is now moving into Aries after 164 years. Neptune, it actually takes 164 years to travel around the zodiac and brings here truly great new energies that we haven't had before. As clearly in the sign of Aries, we begin to co-create, perhaps also regarding what our dreams and visions are. So it will indeed, many things will be new. And that's what I said at the beginning. Everything will be new. The end of the old era begins. A new era begins. The last time we actually had Neptune in the sign of Aries, that was in 1861. My dear ones, 1861, we did not experience that. And we are experiencing it now. And we will not experience it happening again. So it is now, so to speak. I also mentioned in the previous weekly reading that this is a crazy time. I talked about someone from our circle of acquaintances who has passed away. And unfortunately, they can no longer experience this. These are, and so moments or situations in life where I think about the fact that we are experiencing this right now. Almost like a gift. It brings great changes for us. We should really make use of it. In general, that we are here and can also experience it. We are allowed to co-create, just as I have just read aloud. Okay, so Neptune is someone who moves very slowly. That means not everyone will immediately feel it directly or perceive it more intensely. Some earlier, others later. I have to be honest, it really hit me quite hard on Saturday. I already noticed it on Friday before we had the new moon. I noticed it then, and it really hit me on Saturday. When we had the new moon in Aries, I am an Aries myself. I have to be honest, I actually perceived it. I definitely noticed it. I wouldn't say that everything is new or changing. No, but I perceived it energetically and felt that something is changing right now. I can't put it into words, how or what. I don't want to use this platform for that. I might do that individually at some point. But I definitely felt something. Maybe you felt it too, or maybe it will come to you. The cardinal signs, meaning not only Aries, but also Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, between 0 and 2 degrees. Or let's say 0 to 2 degrees this year, as well as all mutable signs between 28 and 29 degrees. These are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So there you have currently still a Neptune transit where Pisces experienced it quite differently, or rather probably perceive it. So I'll put it this way. The signs will definitely perceive it more intensely, or perhaps feel it more quickly, as I just read out. Yes, Neptune transits, they always bring a certain possibility of dreaming, imagination, and those that we try to realize that we can imagine, but also exactly in that process, there can be a lot of sometimes deceptions and disappointments, or getting lost. Or that we find ourselves in the process of losing, where we realize we as a collective are going through a major ending, and perhaps also through a great disappointment, but which also can bring with it a lot of magical energy, magical things. Or yes, I'll put it this way, can bring magical moments. Magical perhaps also, I'll say the theme of dreams and math, that maybe you see something in your dreams, and it could also be moments of healing that we have not yet experienced and knew were even possible. These are all Neptune energy, Pisces energy that we perceive here. This is, of course, a long-term transit, as I said, bringing change that is approaching us, especially from the perspective of the coming years. Neptune is a planet that stands for dreams and imagination, as already mentioned, but it sometimes also brings illusions. And with that, deception and lies. And our subconscious, one is also very influenced by it, by all of our, especially our spirituality, also our beliefs, but also our mental health. As already said, Neptune rules the 12th house, fundamentally. It stands for the energy of the 12th house. And there, it's always about a certain kind of retreat and isolation, also. And sometimes also prisons. It can actually be a topic for some that something will change there. But these are also temples, as mentioned, and also churches. These are places where people are not initially visible to the outside, but rather look inward. So, as mentioned, these can also be places of retreat. I have also noted here that Neptune as a transit wants to dissolve things. So it especially wants to dissolve boundaries, soften boundaries, so that everything comes together, so that we can connect and no longer have such hard boundaries to draw. It can also be a topic here that we take care of one of people who might also need help, that we might be able to see this better, perceive it better. Oops, sorry. Yes. Neptune has, as mentioned, changed signs from a Barbara was, I can't even pronounce it. Variable, Pisces sign. So Pisces energy, only water energy, intuitive, sensitivity, perceives receptivity. This is especially a feminine energy. Changes into the cardinal sign of Aries. This is fire, or now brings fire with it. Then it is a very strong, loud energy that will especially push us into action, into being brave, and into our strengths, into our urge to act. This can also be an important topic for some, being independent, self-employed, Also, professionally speaking, yes, yeah, through the Aries energy, something can suddenly happen, that something suddenly appears. In your life, something you may have always wished for, but never thought could enter your reality in this life. Let me put it this way. We also had the eclipses now. We had the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse, as I have already mentioned. This is all intertwined now with the whole time. And all of this is now quite sudden. Also happening. And I can well imagine that this is also a topic here, that these eclipses are very potent. And let me put it this way. Eclipses mean things are eclipsed. They can, or these things can sometimes be such that we cannot see them clearly like this. But let me put it this way, how this energy unfolds. But I have the feeling that it's now more about feeling, that we sense it, that it might still need time. Let me put it this way, things won't change suddenly now. It will come. Nephron has just moved into the weather. It will all come gradually. Yes. Let me put it this way. Venus was also involved in this context. Venus is now, or rather still, in Pisces. Will become direct again on the 13th. April, direct again. And yes, then at the end of April, or rather Venus will move back into Aries at the end of April. And this was a bit related to the eclipses because Venus was also there as a kind of messenger. Let me put it this way. When Venus then moves into Aries at the end of April, as I said, the 30th of April until the 6th of June, many things might manifest and make clarity visible as well. There are many significant new beginnings, and maybe you will feel it too, especially with Neptune entering Aries, that you want to change something. So I would say new beginnings, rebirth. That's like new beginnings, rebirth, rebirth. Remember that. You long to bring new things into the world. Yes, we are on the brink of a new path. That's just how it is. Trust your new path. And also your new life. So many things will change. My life, I'm telling you now. And I have this feeling here. Trust. As I said, we are on the brink of a new path. Trust your new path. Trust your new life. This is the end of the old world. Hold on to your vision. And what you truly want, and what you also want to realize. In line with the motto, especially with Aries, just do it. Here's a bit of Nike advertising. No, kidding aside. That's actually how I would see it here. I'll take a quick look through again, but I think I'm actually done. I thought the video would be longer. I actually thought it would last about an hour and a half. But I think I'm actually done. My dear ones, this is also my closing word. Then be ready to awaken spiritually. As I said, be ready to become new. Be ready. Yes, the end, as I said, to end your old time or your old life here also. Very ready for a new chapter in life. And above all, be ready to realize, as I said, your dreams now. What do you really want to achieve? Be ready. Now is exactly the right time for it. Or rather, the start for it. Okay, my dear ones, I would say I'm done with the topic of Neptune for now. There will probably be another video later in the year. Also, as I said, towards the end of the year, when Neptune changes signs again, it would go back into Pisces. Exactly. And then finally next year anyway, when Neptune permanently moves back into the sign. There will definitely be another video about that. Otherwise, I would say feel free to watch my other videos. Feel free to check out my astrological forecast. I make them every month. Astrological forecast. And I wish you all the best with this energy for now. And see you in the next video.